This Pitch Breakfast video is brought to you by Spangler and Agins.
My name is Lee Tobin. I am the CEO of an energy management company called WEMS, which stands for Water Ridge Energy Management Systems. I spent 2 hours practicing for a 2-minute presentation. And I wrote it down here so I could remember it. And as I listened to the other gentlemen talk, this is not applicable for what this meeting is all about. WEMS is an energy management company that puts energy systems into buildings to reduce energy consumption. My background has no bearing on the energy business. I spent 25 years in San Diego, California, publishing 26 weekly newspapers, and an ex-wife convinced me to move to the East Coast to be near my children, and so I retired. I worked for a gentleman by the name of Rupert Murdoch, who many of you probably have heard of. I know him personally, and when I retired, I came to Charlotte because my children are here, and I thought this would be a good place to live. I've now been here about 11, almost 12 years, and I love it here very much. I came up with this concept because someone approached me and said, there are 2 gentlemen in Utah that are manufacturing a product that you need to go see. So I did, and that company manufactures an energy management system that we are putting into hotels and motels to reduce energy consumption. I invested personally a little over $1 million in that company in Utah, and just recently I completed a reverse merger acquisition of a public entity of an over-the-counter company, and we are merging WEMS into that company, and will be on the exchange under the symbol WEMS 2, Roman numeral 2. How much time do I have left?
9 minutes and 42 seconds. Let's take it away.
First person said that $150 was too much. The second person said that they charge nothing, and so that's too much. My equipment costs $63,500. If anybody wants to invest in that equipment, they would get a 20% return on an annual basis for 10 years by putting that into the end user locations. I came up with the concept of leasing the equipment as opposed to selling it to the end user, because the end user doesn't have that kind of money to buy it. But an investor who wants to make 20 to 30 to 40% on their money has the ability to purchase the equipment. We audit the location, we install it, we monitor it, we maintain it, and we get the individual a return. I mentioned the stock offering because this will be published very shortly in the trade publications, and Charlotte will be the home headquarters for our company. We will have approximately 240 people working for this company locally, and then there'll be national. We have a tremendous contact in the hotel motel industry with a very large company that franchises their hotels all across the country. So we've got a built-in business base that we intend to attract. I've already been turned down by several potential investors. One of them is standing here by the door, who didn't want to meet with me, that it didn't fit his fund. But what I'm going to say to you folks is anyone who wants to meet with me, I will have my business cards. You can email me, and I'd love to meet with anybody and tell you about my company.
What is it, a product or is it a service? What does it do?
It's a product.
What does it do?
It saves energy in that end user location.
But what is it?
It controls all of the computer equipment, everything, the lights, the heat, the electricity in an end user location.
Okay.
I'll-
So is it kind of like I'm thinking of, this is like big corporate Nest, right? The sort of thing that says there's nobody in the room right now, so
That's
don't worry
correct.
about cooling it,
That's
that kind of
correct.
thing.
That's
Could you
correct.
talk a little bit about that?
I can talk about it, but whether or not they would understand it or not, I'm not sure. Whether you
We're a
would,
pretty smart audience. Give it a shot.
I'm sorry?
We're a pretty sharp audience. Give it a shot.
The energy system goes into an end user location and controls all of the systems that are in that building. If we put one in this building, we'd be able to control the lights, the heat, the electricity. When you have a hotel or motel, a lot of the rooms are empty, but yet there still has to have energy in that particular room. And we're able to shut it off by room when no one is there or when someone is there. We have beta tested this equipment. I've got over 100 systems out across the country right now, and our average consumer savings has been approximately 33% of the energy bill of an end user location. Typical hotel motel spends about $150,000 a year in their energy costs, heating their pool, heating the rooms, so forth and so on.
All right.
We're able to save
So-
well over 30%.
So Lee, look, so when you stood up and started
Excuse
talking,
me, am I over my 2 minutes?
you're way over. We're off the map. Don't worry about it. So look, when you started, you were hilarious, right? My background has nothing to do with this. Everybody loved you. Everybody was like totally ready to like jump on your back and roll. And then we kind of then I don't know what happened. Then things kind of got weird and but you just had some awesome stuff that you said, right? You just had some great stuff. When you said you got 100 beta systems and you can save people, $50,000 a year by kind of what this thing does, I feel like you've got a pretty good story. Like when you're pitching this to people, like y'all tell me if you agree with me, get to that stuff way quicker, right? Like if you've got the 2 minutes, it's, hey, I'm Lee, I'm kind of charming, my background isn't from this world, right? I'm from this energy management thing, but I got a device and it saves hotels $50,000 a year on their thing.
And other buildings.
Yeah, okay, fine. And I got 100 of them out in the world, and we're kind of kicking ass, and I'm looking to raise some money, right? That I think there's a much wider on-ramp to that story than why you moved here and people that you know and all that stuff, which is interesting, but what do y'all think? Yeah? Yeah. Because you got a good story.
When I listened to the other gentlemen who were here and they did excellent jobs, I turned to my associate and said that this is probably the wrong venue for me, but if I could get one person who is sitting here like yourselves that was interested in hearing the rest of my story, I'd be more than happy to do it.
Sure. Well, and when people asked to know what it was, you kind of said it's too complicated for you to get.
How old do you think I am?
I don't have any idea.
Take a guess.
I don't want to guess how old you are.
45.
That's a very good guess. I'm 74.
Okay.
I'm probably the oldest person in this room.
Okay.
And I actually have a 37-year-old girlfriend.
It's getting weirder. Okay, so we don't.
And she gave me a new nickname last week. She calls me ATM, so if everyone knows what an ATM is. Richard, you wanted to ask me a question?
Yeah, so I'm involved with 3 different companies that have energy saving for large casinos, hotels, large buildings, etc. They all can use it through lighting efficiency, trash management, energy efficiency. If I'm the owner or the operator of a large number of these facilities or buildings, and you come walking in, you're one of 12 guys that have pitched this idea to me. Why should I choose you as opposed to any of these others?
Because I do not charge for the equipment. We lease the equipment.
Dude, that's a big deal. You got to get to that one. That's more important than your nickname.
What I do is I find individuals around the country who want to get a return on their investment, and so I came up with the concept of leasing the equipment to the end user, because the end user does not have the funds available
Right.
to outline $63,000.
Okay, so what you're competing with are things that will not only not have a cost, but they'll let you pay for the system through the energy savings.
That's correct.
And they have relationships with banks that'll actually finance that. So that might be something you can think about pursuing.
Well,
So there's
I
no out
already,
of
I
pocket.
already have a major financial institution that has committed to me to lease the equipment
Nice.
to the end user
That's
location.
huge, yeah.
As I said when I came up here, I'm not sure this is the right venue for me, but if I could have one person come up to me and say, you know, what you've got is something really fantastic, we want to talk more about it, that's all that's the only reason I'm here,
Yeah.
is to do that.
Okay, come on,
Yes, sir.
somebody.
It sounds to me like you're pitching on two different fronts. One is looking for investors in your group, though, even though you say you got some financial backing already, including your own and outside vendors. But you got to, if you're talking to investors, you got to talk about the benefits of the product, on either front. It's a salesman's pitch, back to future benefit. And the benefit is what we just listed earlier. If you're talking about selling it to the end user, then you definitely got to jump into those benefits right off the bat. The introduction about your history and how you jumped into it, do real quick, let them know.
Good
but
point.
that lends a lot of credibility. It was like you said, you had everybody on your back. Get away from all the fluff. Get right down to the nitty gritty of the benefits and what the product
Good
does.
point.
Okay, David, what do you want to say?
I was just going to say, first of all, I want to give the audience more credit. Second, I want to ask, how much money are you trying to raise? And I think you need to focus totally on the finances. This isn't an old school type of product, an old school type of business proposition. It's all about the cash flow here, I think. And so I think you need to focus on that, but also on how much money are you trying to raise?
Zero. I've already raised it. The funds have already been raised to do this project.
You just want some friends?
I'm sorry?
You just want friends? What are we here for?
This is good.
The experience,
Yeah.
I've never been to one of these types of meetings before. I find it fascinating, but I do want to make a connection with an investment firm that we can learn from and find additional funding from if we need it and so forth.
So you are raising money.
The funds have already been raised.
Okay.
I won't mention the amounts, but it's a considerable amount. That gentleman back there?
I think we're done.
One suggestion for you, too. If I heard you right, that the company's going to be headquartered here, you said 240 jobs?
300.
340. That's huge news for Charlotte. One of the things...
I'm not ready to announce that, but I've already taken that step to do that.
Very cool.
So when you see that in the papers, you'll know who it came from. Anybody else? Thank you very much.
Lee Tobin, ladies and gentlemen.